Welcome, everyone. Here we are. This is Father Son Galaxy. I am Kerwin. This is Keith.
Hello there.
Yes, we are back on our Wednesday live stream. Even though Star Wars may be over for the year, maybe.
We still got more.
Yeah. You know, the last few seconds when we saw Thrawn in the season finale, he and the Great Mothers were heading towards Dathomir, right? Well, we're going to talk about Dathomir. It's a very, very popular planet. It's not the kind of place you want to be. I would not go on a vacation there at Dathomir. I would avoid all that. So we're going to get in and talk about the inhabitants. The characters from Dathomir and their importance in the Star Wars lore, and then we'll talk about Emperor Palpatine's connection to the planet. All right. So can't wait to talk about it. Let's get into it. So thank you, everyone. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you. Please, hopefully you'll stay until the very end, like and subscribe to our channel if you have not done that already. For those of you who have been here before, welcome back. Let's go. Ready? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to start with Dathomir. So what is it about Dathomir? Where is it? Where is it located? It is a planet in the Outer Rim in the Quelli sector, illuminated by a red sun with a forest and swamp terrain. Hundreds of years before the Clone Wars, Dathomir was inhabited by a species called the Fromprath. All right. And they were forced off the planet by the Nightsisters, a group of witches who then took over Dathomir.
So they're not native to Dathomir?
Well, at the beginning, no. It seems like the Fromprath. I don't have too much information about who or what they were, but they were kind of pushed out of the planet, and then the Nightsisters took over. All right. Okay. Mother Talzin. Let's talk about Mother. You can't talk about the Nightsisters without talking about Mother Talzin. All right. So Talzin was born on Dathomir and soon became the leader of the Nightsisters and the Nightbrothers. So there's also actually a male group.
Yeah, there's a faction of Nightbrothers.
Right. And how it works. So if you're from Dathomir, you're considered a Dathomirian, right? But the male Dathomirians have a subspecies called
Dathomirian Zabrak.
Yes, Zabrak. Yes. There's a subspecies called Zabrak.
Dathomirian Zabrak. Depends on if you were born on Dathomir or not. For some reason, there's a subspecies of Dathomirian, which is also a subspecies of Zabrak. So it's Dathomirian Zabrak because they have the words.
Yes. Okay. All right. So you have the male and the female. They're living on the planet. Okay. So Talzin, has force sensibility. She has force powers, and it's not used the way you would see a Sith or a Jedi would use it. She deals with dark magic. Okay, and we saw that with the Great Mothers in the Ahsoka series, right? She is so powerful. Let me tell you how powerful she is. I mean, she's again, got these force powers, and she uses her magic, and she can, create, create using her dark magic. She can change things. It was so popular to Emperor Palpatine. So Palpatine, we know, is a student of dark magic. That's of the dark side. Period. Right? He is force sensitive, obviously, and he has learned from a very young age about the force powers and the Sith and the dark side of the force. That was something he was into. So when he heard about Mother Talzin, he became intrigued with what she could do. So he actually went and visited Mother Talzin on Dathomir and wanted to understand more about her powers. And he was so impressed with her, he made her a promise that he was going to make her his apprentice one day, right? And Talzin was very excited about the idea of that happening, but instead, Palpatine being Palpatine, instead of taking on Talzin as an apprentice, he stole her son. All right. Yes, Talzin birthed a son named Maul. All right, she is his birth mother. Palpatine steals Maul from her to raise him as his apprentice.
That's almost comically hilarious.
Yeah, that would be something that Sidious would do. All right.
He's like, I will partner with you. You will be my apprentice.
Right.
And then immediately kidnaps her son.
Yes.
And then decides, I will train the boy.
Okay. All right. So, you know, so I would expect that any mother who had their child kidnapped would want revenge. She knows exactly who did it. And she has been going after Palpatine for a very long time. The two of them
That's crazy.
don't get along. Yeah, they don't get along, and we'll see as the story goes along. There is just bad blood between the two of them. All right. So now, Darth Maul. Let's talk about Maul. All right, his rise to becoming the Emperor's apprentice. Now, of course, Maul. We were introduced to this character in 1999. All right, Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. There is a very interesting YouTube video. You could find it anywhere. It's called The Mythology of Star Wars. Wonderful interview that George Lucas is being interviewed by Bill Moyer. He is a PBS news reporter. This was right around the time when The Phantom Menace came out. And there was a question about why did George create Darth Maul? All right. And what George Lucas said that he wanted to create someone that competed with Darth Vader, right? As far as evil, he wanted to build another icon of evil. He needed Maul to evoke fear in people. So I have a question for you. Now, you've seen The Phantom Menace more than once. I don't remember how old you were when you first saw it, but
probably about 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay. When you first saw Darth Maul, were you scared? Do you recall?
Not really. He had his hood on most of the time, so I never really saw his face.
That's a good point.
I thought he was cool though.
Yeah, he looked like he didn't look like any character that we have seen up to that point.
Because mostly they were human.
Right.
Like except for a few scenes in like the cantina and the Ewoks. We'd really never seen any alien characters.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And the sailbards.
That's a good point, right? Yeah, it's just very interesting. I mean, the tattoos on his face, and the red. The red just represents power and aggression. And you're right, he had the dark hood that he wore most of the time, but he was just absolutely. Keith, are you listening to me? All right, so.
Hello there.
Hello there. Thank you. Wikipedia is here. All right.
Hello
Thank you
there.
so much. All right.
I have some ideas for you.
You do? Okay. All right. Let's save it to the end. All right. So, and this is the first time, as far as I remember, we've seen a character wield a double-bladed lightsaber. Right? He was so cool, and we could not wait to see that scene where that battle on Naboo took place between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Darth Maul. I mean, you saw it in the clips, you saw it in the previews, you heard the music, the duel of the fates, and you just wanted to see how this was going to go down. And that did not disappoint. I mean, to me, that was probably the best part of the film. This battle between the three gentlemen. So yeah, so we see that he's very skilled and he's quick. I mean, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan had a very hard time keeping up with him, and we know what happened with Qui-Gon. He actually, got the saber, and he went down.
And for the first and last time in all of Star Wars, somebody actually perished from getting stabbed with a lightsaber.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. Times have changed. I don't know exactly why or how, but yes.
Well, I feel like in the Clone Wars, up until like Disney Plus streaming, if somebody received the blade, if somebody got shanked with a lightsaber, we didn't have to question if they were alive or not.
That was painful.
Like, I don't understand what happened anymore, but all of a sudden people are just like, I'm alive.
Yeah, exactly. Right, Jordan. Very good point. As soon as the second saber ignited, that's right, because you only saw, he held the stick right in the middle, and then you saw one side of the saber ignite, and then the other side was like, "Whoa, what is this?" And
Lego made fun of that because Obi-Wan had a line where he's like, "That's an old way to hold a lightsaber."
Oh, really?
And then the other blade comes out. He's like, "Oh."
Yeah, it was awesome.
And then Obi-Wan cut his legs off, and Maul's like, "You can't catch me! You can't catch me!" Oh, my legs are running away from me.
Oh, what? Oh, ouch. Okay. Yeah, I like the joke that you told before, where Obi-Wan gave Maul the half off deal.
Yeah. Same deal Captain Carter got from Wanda.
Yeah, right. I remember that. Yes, right. We're not going to talk about that movie, are we? Okay.
No, you're not.
Let's stick to Star Wars. Okay. Yeah. So we know what happens. And by the way, this is a spoiler review. I hope everyone who's watching or listening have already seen the Phantom Menace and everything else that we're going to talk about.
He fell down the reactor shaft. And
yeah.
By the way, that was a revival that actually worked for me. Like, it was believable because his rage and his hate kept him alive. All of that anger fueled him to stay alive, and then his lightsaber was just helping him channel all that anger. Once Obi-Wan destroyed that lightsaber, he crumpled and became one with the spice.
Yes, that's true. Right. That's pretty much what happens. Now let's stop and talk about this a little bit. But you have a good point. I'm not usually a fan of seeing a character. You think a character is gone, that they should be gone. Um, I'm not a fan of them coming back. Although I'm being hypocritical because when Luke died, I wanted him to come back. But anyway, so I thought
that was a absolute worst decision I think Star Wars has made.
Yeah, well, okay. Like, it depends on who you talk to. Okay.
I'm not saying that getting rid of legacy characters was a bad thing, but they are literally icons of the original trilogy, and the ghosts of Star Wars past is what you made them into. So
yeah. So Maul just
I don't appreciate that.
It's cool.
I don't appreciate Han or Leia or Luke dying. I don't appreciate that.
Maul left such an impression on the fans that I don't think we were unhappy seeing him return. I think we were a little shocked that, how can somebody survive being cut in half?
And they explained it well.
Right, but it is Star Wars, and you have a very good point that he was so angry that he felt there was so much more for him to do. He needed to go after Kenobi. That was his primary goal. And you're right, that anger just fueled in him. So it turns out that heading back to Dathomir, Maul has a brother.
Oh, by the way, in the Clone Wars, there's a whole lot of people receiving the saber.
Explain.
Like, a lot of people get shanked, especially by Darth Maul. I mean, it happens quite a lot in the Clone Wars.
Okay.
And then the Grand Inquisitor, he received the saber, and then we're all like, are they erasing canon now? And then he comes back, and I'm just like...
Okay, Keith. Well, we had this conversation before. You're talking about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
My brain just said loading.
No, it's all right. It's fine. It's fine. All right. So Darth Maul now has a brother, right?
He's no longer Darth because
he lost his title.
Yeah, in his absence, Sidious
as well as his legs, he lost his title.
Yeah, in his absence, Sidious decided to pick up another Padawan.
Right.
And that was Dooku.
Right. Because Sidious thought, like everybody else, that, okay, well, Maul didn't survive that. He's gone.
Well,
all right, let me just find another apprentice. Who's next? Dooku. Let's do this. Okay. But anyway, so Maul comes back, all right? Maul has a brother. All right? Savage Opress. Okay. So back on Dathomir, Mother Talzin apparently knew that Maul was still alive, and she tells her son. Well, she tells Savage Opress. I'm assuming that they're blood brothers. I'm not quite sure.
Well, let's just call them brothers for now because they call themselves brothers.
Yeah, they do. They do. And Savage Opress is a part of the Nightbrothers. So she tells Opress to go get your brother. He is on a planet called Lothal Minor.
Not
Lothal.
Lothal.
Yeah, Lothal Minor.
So it's actually, I was surprised. I thought maybe it was like a moon of Lothal, but then I read.
It has nothing to do with Lothal, right?
AL.
Yeah, Lothal Minor. Lothal?
Yeah, so it's a
Lothal Minor.
It's a junkyard planet.
Yeah, right.
And Maul has basically gone insane there. He managed to craft himself spider legs.
Yes,
but
that was creepy.
He's really not in his right mind anymore.
He's lost his mind. I mean, literally lost his mind. I mean, his
mind went down the reactor shaft with his legs.
he's mumbling. He's angry, and Oppress is looking at him and he can't believe this is my brother.
Hey, I'd be angry too.
Yeah, I mean, he was. Well, yeah, of course. I mean, he has a lot to be angry about. So what Oppress does is take Maul back to Dathomir, back to Mother Talzin, and with her magic, her dark magic, she restores his legs or gives him new legs.
Metallic ones.
Metallic legs, right? Not the final version of his legs, but gives him legs to stand on, to walk on, and she restores his memory. Pretty cool, right?
So he's no longer a babbling, bumbling.
Right. But he's still angry.
He's no longer a babbling public bozo.
Right. Now he makes sense. He is really after revenge. All right. And the first thing he does, of course, is look for Kenobi. I mean, he
has a really bad habit of just yelling the word Kenobi over and over.
Yes.
He's always shouting Kenobi.
Yeah. And there has been times when Maul was close to getting Kenobi, but Kenobi just seemed to escape. So that didn't work out. Now, right. So now, Darth Maul needed to do something else. He has to keep busy doing something. All right. When the Emperor found out that Maul may have been alive or heard that he was alive, Maul was actually trying to maybe have a conversation with the Emperor. And he felt that, well, you didn't, he wanted to be back in the Emperor's graces. He wanted to be the apprentice again.
Yeah, he wanted to have a nice chat. Yeah. And Sidious had other plans.
Yeah. So, Sidious wasn't having it. And, there was an epic battle that took place between the Emperor, Savage Press, brother, and Maul. Now, by the way, shortly after Maul got his legs restored and he was back to normal, he decided, okay, well, if he wasn't going to be the Emperor's apprentice, he was going to make himself a Sith Master, right? And he was going to appoint Savage Press to be his apprentice. So the two of them are going around and they're wrecking havoc, and they're claiming to be, there's, we know with the Sith there's always two, that they are the two. It's not Sidious and Darth Tyrannus, it's Maul and Oppress.
Nobody calls him Darth Tyrannus.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody calls him Count Dooku.
Count Dooku, yeah.
It just rolls off the tongue more.
I agree.
Darth Tyrannus.
I agree. Sometimes, you just have to remember. I know he has a Darth name, but
dude called him a dinosaur, like
Tyrannus Rex, right? Yeah, or Dooku. That's a very interesting name.
You could also call him Darth Dooku.
Darth Dooku.
But I like Count Dooku, or just Dooku,
or Count Chocolate. Yeah. Anyway.
Oh! I want your chocolate.
There you go. All right, he's a count, so we know about
1, 2, 3, 4.
He's a count. There you go. Very good, Keith. All right.
Remember Count Von Sesame?
Yes,
from
Count Von Count.
I don't care. He's Count Von Count to me.
Yeah.
He's Count Von Count, but he should be Count Von Sesame.
Okay.
Because he's on Sesame.
Right, I get you.
Anyway,
right.
It's Count Von Count. And he used to be like 1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. Okay. So now, so Maul is going around claiming that he is the Sith Master and he has his own apprentice. Well, Emperor Palpatine says, "Well, I'm going to put a stop to this. And you're causing trouble around here. And I know you used to be my apprentice, but I'm going to have to put you back in your place." And he cornered the two of them. Unfortunately, Oppress lost his life during the battle. Yeah, the Emperor took him out.
Soul exhaled through his body.
Yeah, and tortured Maul And I mean, like really, he was at a point where we didn't know if Maul was even going to make it, but he did.
I mean, Savage just went.
Yeah, yeah. And so Maul did survive. And hey, what else can Maul do? He wants power, so he's going to have to try to gain power someplace else. So he creates the Shadow Collective. All right. So he moves on to the Shadow Collective. And who are the Shadow Collective? Well, they're made up of criminal organizations like the Pikes, Black Sun.
The Hutts, I think.
I think the Hutts might have been a part of the Shadow Collective. But
basically, it's all of the shady crime bosses
yes.
in the Outer Rim combined into one.
Yes, exactly. And Death Watch. All right.
Yes.
Death Watch.
Yes,
Mandalorian. So
and by the way, Maul actually becomes the leader of Death Watch for a short time.
Yes. All right. So let's talk about that. How does that happen? So now, the Death Watch are, let's explain who they are. They are a militant group, part of the Mandalorians, who is about war. They love to fight. They believe that Mandalorians are trained to fight. They that's their culture of battles and fights, and they are a part of a leadership that doesn't want that. They want the leader of Mandalore, Satine Kryze, is a pacifist. She wants nothing to do with war.
And Satine cries a lot.
Yes, she does. Well, these people that are not listening to her is making her cry. I mean, so they don't want to follow her. They think she's
Satine Kryze, sister of Bo-Katan Kryze.
Right. So it's not Kryze, it's Kryze?
Oh, it honestly depends. It's like Namor. Nobody in Wakanda Forever can pronounce Namor the same throughout it. It's like Namor, Namore.
Okay.
Namor.
So I'll say Kryze. All right, Satine Kryze.
Say Kryze.
So then the Death Watch wants to overthrow their own government. All right. And they succeed with Maul's help. They find Maul. We're talking about his legs that were given to him by Mother Talzin. They actually enhanced it and, made his legs a lot better. They had their own technology. And they asked Maul to help them overthrow Mandalore. Can you imagine? Why Maul?
Should have put rocket boosters in his legs.
That would have been cool.
I mean, then Maul could fly because the Mandalorians have jetpacks.
That's true.
And Maul never really seems to have a shirt on, so I'm not sure he's going to wear a jetpack.
Well, okay, that's a good question. I was about to ask. Well, why didn't they just give him a jetpack? But, I guess.
Also, I'm sure those metal legs are kind of heavy for a jetpack, so why not put rocket boosters in the legs?
Good point. Okay. All right. So, for some reason, they ask Maul to help them to overtake the government. Now, the leader at the time of Death Watch is Pre Vizsla. All right. So we know about the lineage of the Vizsla family, right?
Yeah, Pre Vizsla happens to be the current wielder of the Darksaber.
Right.
I know this by heart. Mm-hmm. Maul actually challenges Pre Vizsla to a duel to lead Death Watch.
Yes, right.
And he actually wins, takes him down in a fight, and grabs the Darksaber for himself.
Yeah. How cruel, right? I mean, it's unbelievable. So
there's a Lego minifigure of that, actually. They even gave him a custom legs and both his double-bladed blade and his black blade.
Yeah.
It's in my Lego book. I could go grab it after. I'm not sure if I even still have it, but I love that book. It's the Lego Star Wars Character Encyclopedia, updated and expanded. The one with the white Boba Fett minifigure in it that used to be from concept art back in 2016. I actually used to have it. They also added it as a DLC to the Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens game back in like 2015 or 2016, so it's there too. I actually unlocked that. It used to be like $7, and we bought it. Can't even go on tangents on my own podcast.
No, that's fine. No, are you done?
No.
No. Okay. I mean, you're talking about your Lego. Okay. Anyway, let's go. Yoshi Vu. Oh wow, the man is here. Yoshi.
He's back.
You seem like quite a fan.
Guess
Yoshi.
Who's back?
Yeah.
Back again.
Thank you so much for being on the show,
New
Yoshi.
member of the Council of Goats appointed.
Yoshi's a great friend of the podcast, so thank you so much.
You know,
wow.
Let's throw Wikipedia in there.
Yes.
The Council
okay.
of Goats.
Yeah. You know,
we got three members of the Council of Goats.
We have some of the greatest people watching us right now, and you know, we're
the greatest of all time.
Yes, it's very hard to stay focused. We're looking at who's coming into the chat, and like this is incredible. So Yoshi, thank you so much. It's a true honor to have you here. So yeah, getting back to what you talked about with Mandalore.
Star Wars wished me a happy birthday. I'm just thinking about that. Happy times.
That was last year. Yes. Okay. So
that's going to be this year too.
So now, not only, all right, so even before Maul challenged Pre Vizsla for the leadership, right? The Darksaber, what happened to Satine? Remember, she was actually assassinated, right?
Maul decided.
Yeah.
Shanked. So.
Right.
So Satine did not make it far.
I mean, imagine, like the carnage that he is causing wherever he goes. By the way,
she cared about Obi-Wan.
Yes, that's right. And I think that was part of the reason why he,
and Maul decided,
used
you
her.
Cause me pain, so I'll cause you pain.
Yes, exactly. Very vindictive. He's been after Obi-Wan for a number of years, and he, found someone.
It would have been 10 years by then, because Phantom Menace would have been like 32 BBY.
Yeah. So he found someone that Obi-Wan truly cared for, and he decided, okay, well, she's a victim, and unfortunately she's gone. Now, I was about to say, Maul is not the type of character who you can see as redeemable. We have some characters in Star Wars, like they start off bad and then they turn good.
Or vice versa.
They were good and then they turned bad?
Skywalker.
Which
technically he was good, and then he was bad, and then he was good. Anakin.
Okay. No, Anakin. Okay, I got you. Right. That's a good point. Right. Anakin. Yes. I never got the impression from Maul that he was ever going to redeem himself, that he was going to be good. There's just no way. I mean, if you look at him, he's so intimidating. He's so scary looking. Like there's no way that he can, one day turn and, just turn into this a hero instead of a villain. So that's what makes him a great villain. All right. So getting back to that.
Yeah, so great villains don't have to be redeemed to be great.
That's true. Right. You can just stay a villain, from the end of time. And
I like having villains who stay villains, like Loki.
I
loved his transformation because they didn't try to make him a hero. They made him an anti-hero. They made him somebody who doesn't want the villains to win, but he's no hero.
That's an excellent point.
Like he's got his own methods. He's outside of the Avengers and the Guardians and stuff. Yeah. He would have been.
Yeah. All right, and then finishing up what you're saying.
Thanos choked him out in 2018.
Yeah, what you were saying about Pre Vizsla, yes, Maul challenged him. And, Maul is he doesn't have any loyalty to anyone. Like he is really there to just get power, as much power as he can, right? And he does challenge Pre Vizsla to a fight, and yes, you're right. Vizsla loses. Maul is now the leader of Mandalore, and he's wielding the Darksaber. All right, and then
Lego Clone Wars faces were terrifying, especially Palpatine.
Okay, all right, okay. So let's move on. So we know Maul is the leader of Mandalore. Maul returns back to Dathomir. Now let's talk about what's going on in Dathomir. There's a lot happening on Dathomir. I want to show you this book. This is the. Let's see if we get this. All right, move it here. This is Darth Maul, Sons of Dathomir. This is a graphic novel that covers, I believe, 4 or 5 issues of the Darth Maul series.
Yeah, it's actually a Clone Wars arc that never made it into the show.
Exactly right.
I wish we got it in season 7.
Yeah. So apparently, this graphic novel is made up of screenplays that were unproduced. They were supposed to be made into a Clone Wars episodes. They never got produced. So they decided to take the screenplay and create a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. All right. And now in this novel, and I don't think you see it anywhere in the Clone Wars episodes, this tells you how Mother Talzin reaches her end. You know, she comes to an end in this book.
Oh, so, by the way,
yeah.
I just thought of something. Like, what if there was a story about a character who's seeing everything through their lens and seeing everything they do as being good, but then at the very end we get a POV switch to one of the other characters and we find out that they're a villain and everything they've been doing has been causing chaos this entire time.
Interesting. Okay. Do you have an example of that, or is that just something you just created?
I mean, maybe Maul feels like he's justified, He's causing all this destruction because Obi-Wan cut off his legs and left him for dead.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be upset too, so maybe he feels like, yeah, I'm getting justice for what was done to me, even though he's not.
Yeah, okay. All right, and I see that Yoshi. Thank you so much, Yoshi. I know you can't stay, but it was just wonderful to have you here. Thank you. We'll be in touch. All right. Okay, let's go to Q&A. All right, let's see who else we have in the chat. What do we got?
Pass me that book, please.
Yes. Alex says, agree that great villains don't need to be redeemable. The Joker is a great example. Absolutely right. Yes, the Joker. I can never see the Joker becoming an anti-hero.
I hope they don't.
Well, I don't know. There is Joker 2 is coming out, soon. We'll see what happens.
I feel like that kind of diminishes his character in a sense.
Well, if you do it right, maybe not. Wikipedia says, can you redeem Marchion Ro? How about that? I don't know. He's pretty evil. We'll see what we can do. I don't know about
him. He seems a little too evil.
Yeah. So, all right, let's return to Dathomir. Now, here's what's going on. Now, remember I said at the beginning, the Emperor and Talzin don't like each other, all right, for obvious reasons. The Emperor at this point has had enough of Mother Talzin.
By the way, did you know in the back of the comic there's a little there's a baby Maul story that everyone wants the lollipops?
Right, yeah.
I love that because the last frame is Mother Talzin being dead, and then they're like, "Little Maul, the quest for lollipops."
Okay, all right. Yeah, this is I can highly recommend this book, Son of Dathomir. All right, but okay, so they don't like each other. Palpatine and Talzin.
Bad blood.
Yeah, so Palpatine at this point has said, you know what, I'm done with her. We need to get rid of her. So he sends Dooku, right, and General Grievous to go to Dathomir. All right, and there is a showdown, a big deal. And when Dooku gets there, this is when Talzin tells him exactly what happened. So Dooku doesn't know the whole story. He didn't even know that Maul was her son.
Yeah, he actually had no idea that he was even replaced. Like, he had no clue he was a replacement to Maul.
Right. Yeah. It's sad that when Palpatine thought that Maul was gone, like he just erased him from his memory and didn't talk about him and didn't say anything about him. I mean, he raised this little boy, to be, him, and at some point,
Timothy Himson.
Yeah, and maybe at some point, I was thinking that maybe the Emperor was thinking long term because if you're training someone at a very young age,
you expect them to be like a destruction machine.
Well, right. I mean, and you have an
absolute unit.
And you have so many years to groom them to be who you want them to be. And by the time Maul is this grown man, I mean, he had all these years of Sith training and force wielding, and so Palpatine knew exactly what he was doing because he wanted to make sure that he had someone in place like Maul when Order 66 happened. Now, things didn't turn out as expected. But yeah, so I don't think Palpatine had any talked about. I don't think he had any interest in having Talzin be his apprentice because he wanted to groom somebody young, train them up. So that's what happened. All right, okay. So now we're back on Dathomir, like I said, and Talzin. There's a battle between Talzin and Dooku and Grievous. What she's trying to do now, I mean, it's gotten so bad that she told her son Maul, "You need to run. You need to go. You need to leave Dathomir. You can't stay." And Maul is saying, "No, I want to help you," and she uses the Force and pushes him back and says, "Get out of here." And
get out of my house.
And at the moment, she's using her dark magic, and Dooku is using the Force lightning, and then battling, and then all of a sudden Grievous comes out of nowhere.
Grievous said, "Double shit,"
and strikes with the final blow, and then that's the end of Mother Talzin.
Mother Talzin turned into an old rock.
Yeah, she is one with the spice. All right,
cracked like.
All right, yeah, okay, all right. So let's. Do we have more Q&A or? Okay, all right, yeah, all right. So that's what happened. So Talzin is gone. Okay. All right. Now, what's next for Maul?
Crimson Dawn.
Well, right before that, the Siege of Mandalore. We talked about this, right?
Yeah, basically, Maul decided, I'm going to go back to Mandalore, rule them. That did not work out well because Ahsoka, Rex, and the 501st ended up taking him out, even though Ahsoka and Maul actually had to team up to escape a little bit.
Yeah, right.
They weren't exactly friends, but they weren't enemies at the time being. An enemy's enemy is an ally.
Exactly. And by the way, we are live on Instagram. I failed to say that at the beginning. Thank you so much for those of you who are watching on Instagram. This is wonderful. Yeah. So the Siege of Mandalore. Now that was the final 4 episodes of season 7 of the Clone Wars, right? It was like a movie. It was like it was huge. It was wonderful, right?
You know how when Darth Maul's on that spotty Skype call with Kira at the end of Solo, why did he ignite his lightsaber?
I know that's
on
a question.
Video conference.
I don't know. Like, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna hurt her? Like
I mean, that's like me pulling out my work suit during a Zoom call, right?
All right, let's get to that. All right, so we know what happens in the Siege of Mandalore. We talked about it before. The 501st, showed up and handled it. Ahsoka, Captain Rex
That's
was
like
there.
me bringing a burger to McDonald's.
Yes. And then Maul flee Mandalore. He is gone.
Maul decided, peace.
Yep, he left. He couldn't stand the heat. And I believe he left behind the Darksaber, right? Because we know in Rebels, Sabine picks up the Darksaber.
Yeah, I think he left it in his hut on Dathomir or something.
Oh, was it Dathomir where he left it? Okay.
I'm not actually sure where he left it.
Okay, yeah.
It was either Mandalore or Dathomir. I think it was Mandalore because he would have had no reason to return to Dathomir.
Well, as a matter of fact, do you recall, now Solo, it's been a long time since I've seen Solo. So let's talk about Crimson Dawn. When he said he ignited the lightsaber, it wasn't the Darksaber, right?
It was his double-bladed
It was a double-bladed. Okay, so I believe at the time, he might have already left the Darksaber.
I'm sure he didn't want that
somewhere
legacy.
Else. Right. So he didn't have the Darksaber at the time. He left it.
Didn't Maul and Obi-Wan fight?
Yeah, well, we're going to get to that too.
And didn't Obi-Wan defeat him?
Yes, Keith, but we were skipping
Obi-Wan
around.
Should have the Darksaber then, because the rules of the Darksaber are that it should be won trial by combat. Maul won it from Pre-Vizsla, and then Obi-Wan defeated Darth Maul in combat, so he should have the Darksaber. Maul left it behind, and then Sabine found it, so she's not worthy, and then she gave it to Bo-Katan, and she's not worthy.
Oh, hold on, Keith. Wait a second. Now, okay, all right, we're going to get to the final battle between Obi-Wan and Maul. But Maul, when they were battling on Tatooine, Maul didn't have the Darksaber. He used his double-bladed lightsaber.
Yeah.
Right, so he didn't have possession of it. So you can't say that Obi-Wan now deserves the Darksaber.
Even he did, because the whole point of the Darksaber is if you fight somebody in combat
with the Darksaber.
Yeah, Maul fought with the Darksaber on Mandalore.
Yeah, but when he was fighting,
I'm talking about Obi-Wan. On Mandalore.
Okay, all right.
Obi-Wan defeated him.
Oh, you mean not on Tatooine? You're talking about Mandalore. Okay,
yeah, Obi-Wan defeated him on Mandalore.
Right.
He didn't kill him, but you don't have to. Obi-Wan defeated him, and he also defeated him again on Tatooine. So really, Obi-Wan should be the one with the saber here.
I have to go back and check that out. I don't recall.
That she's not worthy, that she gave it to Bo-Katan.
All right, well, will you stop saying they're not worthy?
He's not worthy.
Okay, wait.
And then he gave it to Bo-Katan, and she's not worthy.
You're getting out of hand here. Okay, not worthy.
Wait, it should go to Vader.
Why Vader?
Because Vader beat Obi-Wan.
Oh, okay. All right, let's.
Oh, but then Vader beat himself,
Oh my.
so the Darksaber's kind of soft locked.
Okay, I think let's head back to Crimson Dawn.
Oh.
All right, so we're talking about Crimson Dawn, right? So Crimson Dawn again, so the Shadow Collective, that failed. The Pikes and the Black Sun didn't want anything to do with Maul. So he had to create a new organization, all right? So, and that's Crimson Dawn. And Crimson Dawn, we've done, War of the Bounty Hunters, so we know about their operation. It was actually, at the time, the leader was Dryden Voss, right?
Yeah, then Dryden Voss didn't last long.
No, he bit the dust, and then
another Kira one bites the dust.
And Kira took over, and then that's the scene that you saw at the end of the
Maul dipped at some point.
Yeah, well, that's what you saw at the end. So, and that was a surprise cameo. No one saw this coming, that Maul was going to be in Solo, a Star Wars story. So that was pretty cool. All right, so he is now the head of Crimson Dawn. However, in the back of his mind, Obi-Wan was still there. Kenobi. He cannot get rid of Kenobi. This was a thorn in his side. He needed to finally fight and beat Kenobi.
So he decides, one last time, forget about it, and he goes to Tatooine and he seeks out Obi-Wan.
Right.
And he is right there, about to fight him, and all of a sudden, Obi-Wan pulls out a 1-2-3 combo.
Yes.
And slices Maul's lightsaber.
It was quick.
And Maul just crumbles.
Yeah. It was,
Maul folded like a Motorola.
Okay. I didn't even know you knew what a Motorola is or was. Okay. So you
flip phone.
Okay. A Motorola. Okay.
90s much?
Okay. No, they had them in the 2000s.
They shouldn't have.
Okay. I had a Motorola. I think everybody did. Yeah.
That's crazy.
At one point, I think everybody had a flip phone. I just had it much longer than I needed to have one, but I have one. I got teased for that. But anyway. All right.
Maul was softer than a BlackBerry.
Oh, okay. All right.
Get it? The phone?
Yes, I get it. You
That's the wrong fruit.
You are on point tonight. Okay. So now
Maul bruised like an apple.
This Maul comes to a tragic ending. All right. Now, Maul is a great character. Okay. And I am
he brought like an Acer charging cord.
And I am so glad that they, the creators, whoever decided to bring Maul back.
It started and ended with Kenobi.
He did come back because there was a lot of stories to tell regarding Maul.
And great ones.
Yeah, and I believe he's one of the best characters ever made for Star Wars. Definitely one of the best villains, maybe a top 5 villain.
He's really pretty good. He's really pretty good.
He is the GOAT. He is the GOAT. So, and like I said, he didn't need to redeem himself. He was just evil from the very beginning. Well, he was trained to be evil, so I can't say no one is born evil, but he was trained, and it stayed with him, and it was the anger that fueled him throughout his life, and it was the anger that actually destroyed his life in the end. So very tragic character, wonderful storyline. Here's my question. Now, you remember in Ahsoka, the series, right? Thrawn is loading a Chimera with these pods. Okay. What are they called? Pods? Something that they were loading onto the cargo. All right. So do you think in this cargo could be the remains of Maul, and they're taking him back to Dathomir to revive him? No. Is that possible?
I'll be honest. Okay. I think reviving Maul twice would end up coming off as a cheap play more than it would be a strategic idea. Because reviving Maul the first time was already quite a stretch. They took a risk and it really paid off. But reviving him a second time would cheapen it a bit. But I feel like at this point, Maul just can't die, Yeah, I mean, we can literally watch him fold like a Motorola, and he's not gone.
Yeah, and he comes back.
And we can watch him fall down a reactor shaft, and he's still here.
Yeah.
So reviving him would end up coming off a bit as like a fake out from like
Yeah,
5 years ago.
I like his tragic ending on Tatooine. I think it was very fitting that the person that he's been wanting to defeat for so many years, he could never beat, and he was defeated by that same person.
Mostly because Obi-Wan had places to be after Rebels.
Well, right, and Obi-Wan over the years, he just got stronger and stronger in the Force. You know what I mean? So there was no way Maul was going to take him down. But yeah, but to bring if you were to bring Maul back, then you would think, okay, all of that for nothing, and then the Nightsisters or the Great Mothers can bring back anybody. I don't want that to happen. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But I want to throw that question out there to anyone who is watching or listening right now. Do you think it's possible that the Nightsisters could revive Darth Maul?
All right.
Yeah.
So
I hope not.
You
so
know
Alex,
what?
Yeah, go ahead.
So Maul died in let's say 2 ABY.
Yeah, that's about
so
right.
by
Okay.
now it'd be almost 20 years after he died by the time we reach Ahsoka.
If he were to return.
So if he returns, these are like 15-year-old ashes.
Well, we're not talking about ashes.
Yeah, but these are 15-year-old remains of somebody who was already kind of old.
Well, yeah, but with their magic, their powers, their dark magic.
Wikipedia, I got something to tell you.
We don't know exactly.
Stay on a little bit longer.
We don't know exactly how it works, but I think they can probably restore him to his glory or to when he was at his peak. I don't know, but again, it's not something I want to see happen. I don't want to see Maul because I think he had a great storyline, very tragic ending, and which is the way it should be. But we'll see. It's just very interesting that we never got an answer to the question: what was in the cargo? What are they carrying? All this time, they've been, spending 3-4 episodes loading this ship, with this cargo, but they never told us what's in it.
Yeah. Hey, Wikipedia, if you're still here, just chat us real quick, please. Okay. Please, I really have something to tell you guys.
Do you have to tell them right now, or do you rather tell them
right
offline?
Now.
Okay. All right. Oh boy. All right. So, so let me know what you think. Is it possible that Maul can return? All right, in season 2 of Ahsoka. Okay. So now, when we meet again, when we talk about Star Wars again, we are going to talk about Asajj Ventress.
Oh,
yeah,
we are.
Yes, we are. It's in the notes.
Oh, we're doing. I thought we were doing Flash.
Well, no, not yet. Let's finish up Dathomir. So we're going to talk about Ahsoka. We're going to talk about Asajj Ventress. Keith, you're throwing me off. We're going to talk about Asajj, all right? Because she is Dathomirian. So, we're talking about Dathomir. So she has a very good, she's a great character. She's got a story arc to tell. So can't wait to talk about that, okay? So now this coming Sunday, Loki season 3. So that's fine. Want to tell you that this book, Star Wars, 40 stories, certain point of view. We've read it. We've listened to the audio. We've studied it. All right. So, this is coming out. We don't have a date set yet as to when we're going to discuss it, but we're not going to talk about all 40 stories, obviously, but we're going to pick our top 10 favorite stories from Star Wars, a certain point of view, Return of the Jedi.
Dad, look, Magick. Yes. Watch this.
Okay, what's Magick?
So look, you can see my hand right here.
Yes.
Right
okay.
There.
Now remember.
Now watch this.
Okay. Your hand is behind your back. Yes. And then what?
That's it. You can't see the rest of my hand.
Oh, okay. All right. See, I thought you were doing Ben Skywalker. You pull out the lightsaber from behind your back. Okay.
All right. So Wikipedia.
Did I call him Ben Skywalker? It's Ben Solo, isn't it?
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. So Wikipedia, I have something for you guys. So know how on Wikipedia there's a whole bunch of pages for everything. How about you have a page on the homepage for like Star Wars puns or Star Wars dad jokes for people to use? Because I am going to torment everybody in my gifted class with every single Star Wars pun that I can get my hands on. Could you do that? You know what? I will help you. I will help you write Star Wars puns for the Wikipedia website if you'll let me.
What do you think, Jordan? I don't know. Is it possible? We'll talk about it some more. Alex says, I like your jokes, puns. Yeah. All right. Pretty cool. That's a good idea. We'll see. All right. So, Keith, you mentioned about the Flash. So, Keith, if you don't know, is a big fan of the Flash. Okay. Truly a big fan. So, Keith has been talking about ever since we saw the Flash movie. Keith can't stop talking about that film.
Now the Flash movie.
We're not going to talk about it now, right?
I'm just going to say something.
Just
you know
give
how I
a tease.
You know how I ranted and raved about how awful the Flash movie was.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm going to turn that into an episode and get the watch hours for that.
Okay, all right.
And I think next episode, I'm going to do something about season 5. I think season 5 is honestly very overhated in the community.
Really?
But they could have picked a better villain.
Okay.
And we did have a lot of plot lines. So I think I'm going to do a review on that and Cicada and Cicada 2 and stuff. And Nora and how the timeline is malleable, but it shouldn't be.
All right, now correct me if I'm wrong, but you are at some point going to do a comparison between the film and the series, right? Because some of the storylines in both are very similar. And you're going to
Flash
look at
season
these
3 and the Flash movie
right.
are carbon copies of each other.
Right. Okay. And you're going to discuss, if one did it better than the other and why. Okay. All right.
Oh,
okay. All right.
And so I think I might even do something about like the other seasons.
Okay, we'll see. All right.
Ooh, I should do an episode on Crisis and how much I disliked that.
Okay. All right.
That shouldn't have been that funny.
This is Keith full of dislikes. All right. So get ready. All right.
Infinite wells in the multiverse, and we're stuck with the one who took them all out.
And then
Cisco Ramon 2020.
Yeah, as I said at the beginning, I don't believe there's going to be any new Star Wars for the rest of the year. So what we're doing is we're going to be reaching out to other guests, content creators, who knows, maybe authors. We're working out some things, and we're going to bring some people back between now and the end of the year to just discuss Star Wars 2023. What were their favorite moments? Favorite characters, or I think that would be pretty cool. Have a wrap up of what we've seen this past year.
If I'm gonna do an episode on Crisis, I gotta watch all of Crisis.
Okay.
So the only thing about the Arrowverse,
this is still Star Wars.
I know. The only thing about the Arrowverse is that it is absolute torture.
Okay, don't give it away.
No, but I'm just saying, the only thing about the Arrowverse is that it is absolute torture to watch on streaming because there's about 6 different shows. Like, you got Arrow, then The Flash, and Supergirl, Legends, Black Lightning, and Batwoman, and you gotta watch all of those shows to understand the crossovers because each one of these shows has a different part of the crossover.
Oh, boy. Okay.
So, The Flash has the middle part of the crossover. And I only watched that one, and I went to the Arrowverse wiki and read the Cliff's Notes version of the rest of Crisis. It's a doozy, and I don't know about it, but
this sounds overwhelming.
Yeah, it's very overwhelming. Okay, and the whole point of Crisis is that the entire multiverse is in danger. There's a dude called the Anti-Monitor who wants to reset the multiverse and make his own universe where everybody is under his rule.
Okay. All right.
So every single universe gets wiped out, and every other show joins together into one massive world called Earth Prime, where every superhero and every character we've known in the Arrowverse is, except for all the Wells variants.
We don't want to be here for one more
hour. Got channeled into Indiana Jones, but played by Tom Cavanaugh.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's save it. Okay. All right. As we get more Q&A coming,
new version of Tom Cavanaugh.
While we're waiting for any last Q&A, Keith, where can people find us?
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts, our socials, our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Fathers and Galaxy, website fathersandgalaxy.com. Shout out to all our patrons, Broaxium, John H., and Mary B. Woo!
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yep. We're looking for more patrons.
Yeah, these mugs, They're very nice, very sturdy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And then yeah. Okay.
check that out off our merch
Yes.
store.
Yes. Anything else?
And donate to our Patreon.
Okay. All right. And we're on the socials, so you'll be able to find us.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay. Email
I think
address.
I said that.
Okay.
Did
all right. It went very fast. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah. So,
all right.
by the way, there's like 6 variants of the same person.
Okay.
The funny part is they brought back the
Any more
season
Q&A?
2 Wells for season 4.
Okay.
So it was Dr. Harrison Wells who took the.
Thank you. The box animations. You must be new. Thank you so much. Welcome. All right. Hi guys. Big fan of the channel. I love for you guys to watch Star Wars fan film series I made. Send us information about it. We'd absolutely love to watch it.
Maybe we'll have you on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
So basically, it used to be Dr. Harrison Wells, but he died like in the 2000s.
We're still talking about Star
Wars.
Thawne
took his appearance, and he
All right.
pretended to be Dr.
We
Wells.
are going to
And then there was
end
Harry
this
and
episode
HR and Harry again and
because
Sherlock.
we
and
don't
then there
want
was
to be
Air
here
Wells
for
and
another
Wizard
4 hours
Wells and Sunny
to talk
Wells
about the
and Wells
Arrowverse.
2.0.
All right. So
And
everyone,
did I say
if
Sherlock
that is
yet?
it,
HR is the best.
thank you.
And then there was
for joining our
Nash.
podcast.
Then there was Timeless Wells.
We'll see you on Sunday. Okay. So until next time, take care, and we will see you again.
I like talking.